What would happen if a small indie developer gets on the bad side with the more extreme side of the LGBTQ community by accident, but refuse to back down when they come looking for a fight? That's exactly what I will show you in this video. Introducing Artur Smirowski.
Why do all the developers I bring up have to be Polish? I can't pronounce these things.
Anyway, Artur, the developer of the RPG sandbox roguelite game Soulash 2. A game where you control a character through a brutal world with no handholding, just like in the old days where games didn't have an introductory tutorial. With a procedurally generated world, you are thrust into a simulated history of a world where you must level up, gain abilities, gather resources, build an empire, or completely destroy it. And the best part is, it might be a roguelite, but even if your character permanently dies, you'll still be able to continue with your world just as a different character, sort of like you can do in games like Crusader Kings. But one of the most important mechanics of this game is the ability to continue your legacy by marrying another character, from which you can then create kids to continue your run. However, this is when the user 2023 Subaru Impressive asked on the forum if there was any plans to add same-sex marriage. As one of the main mechanics behind the marriage is to produce offspring, the developer then declined and said he wasn't planning on implementing it currently, as it would make it take a long time and there were other priorities that were more pressing. At this point, the conversation was very civil. However, this didn't seem to satisfy the user, as they kept pushing for it to be included, stating that with the current system, it didn't seem to matter what gender the person was to produce a kid. Because that's how babies work, I suppose. However, according to Artur, this message means something completely different. This isn't a push to see if he would change his mind on the matter, but more so an invite to everyone else to begin the discussion on this specific matter. As now both sides would come forth, either supporting the initial question like you see here with people thanking Subaru for coming forth and putting themselves out there, or on the other side begin stirring up sensitive topics and discussions which could potentially snowball this argument into something bigger involving national politics and beliefs. And as more and more people were getting dragged into this argument, the inevitable thing would always end up happening. In one way or another, the developer would be dragged back into this conversation, through people threatening to slowly cancel the game due to his decision, all while this would do nothing but add more fuel to the already blazing bonfire. Eventually, this conversation would spread across more than just the Steam forums, however, as people were now trying to involve Artur into the mix. And what better way to do that than to go to his Discord for the game, where people knew he would be very active. But even doing all this, Artur had decided to mostly ignore these situations, not want to get too involved in the discussions. But as the conversations kept coming and increasing in number, becoming more and more hostile on both fronts, dragging angry people out of the woodwork, he had to finally step forth and put his foot down. So after a week of letting the fire burn, he posted this on the Discord. I think the topic has run its course. The conversation doesn't have anything to do with making the game better at this point. Followed by him reinstating that he will not be changing his mind on this topic, and then proceeding to lock the thread. This also led him to ban several of the bigger troublemakers in this whole ordeal, as they didn't seem to show any signs of stopping. So with the clearest avenue of attack now stopped, they turned to other ways of getting their message out there. This led them to go back to Steam and start posting negative reviews about the game, stating how the developer is a bigot and how you shouldn't touch this game even if the game is alright. But most notably, one of the reviews came from Subaru, stating that they were getting banned simply because they asked Artur to implement the same-sex marriage into the game. Now, I've had no possible way to go back and look through the Discord logs since they got banned, but I have a slight idea that there may have been more to it than that. Artur then responded to this review, describing the situation, saying that Subaru came to ask very respectfully to implement the same-sex marriage mechanic, and Artur then replied respectfully in return. And how the community slowly over time began slipping into madness, followed by, I wish to make it clear that harassment of players and members of the development team has no place in our community, regardless of group association, so this person has been banned. This didn't stop the wave of negative comments, however, as there were now mentions of queer people getting banned a lot more than people who seemed to act homophobic against them. Whether this was true or not, Artur still came out stating that he doesn't actually keep up much with what's happening on Steam forums, and simply letting Steam and their moderators be the ones to take control of the ban hammer on their platform. The Discord, however, was heavily moderated by Archer and his team, not because they were targeting a specific group of people in particular, but were banning anyone who would come in with ill will. The Discord was created to focus on the game, improvements to it that could be implemented, and enjoy the community surrounding it, not to spout political agendas. And people seem to agree with him on that front, as you simply need to scroll down into the comments where you'd be able to see people defending Archer with things like, "Only extremists like you making baseless accusations are the ones getting banned from what I can see," as well as people talking about the Rainbow Mafia being on his case. But of course it wouldn't stop there, as the so-called Mafia kept going after the game, continuously throwing bad reviews at it, accusing Archer of several homophobic things. But this is also when Archer noticed something rather interesting. Before he had banned the people who got banned, words like bigot or racist wasn't actually being thrown around that much. But right after the ban, a lot of the previous posts were suddenly getting edited to include such words and insults, thrown at the developer as well as the community. I mean, just look at these timestamps. But once again, this wasn't going to stop. Archer had to once again put his foot down in what can only be described as one of the most badass ways possible. I'm just gonna read out this tweet for you guys in the fullest. "My grandparents survived the Nazis. My parents endured communism. I had to live through religious oppression since the age of 10. And now some spoiled brats thinks I'll bend the knee to their rainbow flag or they'll type some words. I already have a flag I'm proud of." Followed by a showing of a proud Polish flag. What's even better, as of recording this video, the tweet is still the top pinned tweet on his profile. But you might ask yourself, wouldn't this just add fuel to the fire? Well, Archer had already planned for that, and he knew exactly what he was going to do. Everyone who came into the comments to throw hate around, using slurs and other derogatory terms, were simply being ignored. Yet every civil person who was simply curious to what happened or what was going on, he would explain it to them in a very respectful manner. This started to open people's eyes, and Archer started getting more and more support from people who had and people who hadn't even heard of the game before this point. Which then also resulted in all the negative reviews on Steam getting absolutely decimated by a tidal wave of positive reviews flooding in from all over the world, supporting the developer who did not back down when the extremists had him in their sights. So, was it over? Did Archer win? Well, sort of. The game had gotten more attention than ever before. The Discord was bustling with active people. But of course there would always be the people who would keep pushing the other agenda. These were, however, getting instantly banned now, doing their best to avoid anything like this to happen in the future. But more importantly, and the strongest weapon of them all, he continues to simply ignore them, which works absolute wonders in the long run. So once this was all done and some calm had fallen over everything, Archer came back to give a final explanation to everyone regarding what happened, giving a complete rundown of each step that he took to ensure that his point would come across in the right way to the right people. I would actually highly recommend you go and read some of his posts, which he has all put here, and of course I will post a link in the description. But one of the things he mentions in this post is something I want to reiterate. Please do not harass anyone over this situation, be it the developers or the group that targeted him, because it is over now, and the group who started all of this has now lost all credibility. He even mentions that he'll start moderating the Steam groups as well, as they have now grown bigger than just being a little passion project. But the best thing to come out of this whole thing is still this step-by-step guide on how to be gay within the game. An absolute masterpiece that goes into way more detail than it has any right to be, and it's absolutely glorious. And you guys are absolutely glorious as well. Thank you so much for watching until this point. And if you liked what you saw, please consider giving the video a like, and if you want to see more of this sort of stuff, feel free to click any of the videos that are shown on screen right now. Have a good one, people.